My name is Welch, and welcome to episode 10 of the Then and Now Blading podcast. For this episode, I speak with Sean Keane. And as many of you know, Sean has recently received a pro skate from Rollerblade. It's the Sean Keane Beta Blank Skate. It's a limited edition, limited run skate currently. It's only available in certain sizes, and it looks super rad. I'm kind of jealous I don't have a pair myself because I really want to skate them. But I talked to Sean about the skate. We talk about how the feedback has been. We talk about how he got on rollerblade. We talk about his history in the sport. We talk about his snowboarding. We talk about all sorts of stuff. It's a really exciting interview. I think you should like it. If you do, make sure and hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. And I'm really excited about this show because it is episode 10. I've been doing this channel for about 4 months. Got a little bit over 2,000 subscribers. It's growing fairly well, and I have lots of content in the works for 2022. It's going to be really exciting. New shows, lots of new footage. I have a bunch of interviews coming up with people who haven't been heard of from in years. So definitely doing a lot of the then, but I'm going to focus a lot on the now too, especially after this winter. But I do have a lot of fresh footage that hasn't been seen. So there's going to be lots of fun content on this channel coming up. And if you do like this channel and you like what I do and you want to support this channel, I have a link to my Patreon page in the description below. And Patreon's a way just to support me to do more content. It takes a lot of time, it's a lot of work, and I just want to share all the things I have with you. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you're going to get exclusive content not available on this channel. And what I'm going to be doing new for my Patreon page is I'm going to be uploading all these podcasts, all of the vault, all the uncut, everything I've put up so far, and everything that's going to go up in the future will also be available on the Patreon page without any advertising. So you can watch those all ad-free, which will be an added perk. Also in the description below, I have links to my social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go ahead and follow me on those, and I'll follow you back, and we can communicate and say hi to each other. Also, another way to support this channel is I have some coffee mugs. Done Now Blading has a little yawn on it that Chris Peel did back around 2000. So I have these on my website, thenandnowblading.com. I'm going to have some more merch in the future. So if you want to support the channel through some merch, that would be awesome too. Just visit the link. It's in the description below. Let's get started with episode 10 of the Then and Now Blading podcast with Sean Keane. So, Sean, welcome to my Then and Now Blading podcast. It's been quite a long time since I've talked to you or seen you in person. In fact, I don't even remember last time I saw you in person. Maybe on like Colorado road trip or something.
I was gonna say it was a Colorado road trip at least 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You ever go out to the Boshi Pope contests?
I went this last year.
This last year? Okay. Yeah, I live like 5 hours north of there, so.
I know. I heard there's like a little northeast, that little camping blade.
Yeah. I do my New England blading camp every summer.
Yeah, so, I want to go on that one time. It looks fun.
Well, you should definitely go because I live 1 hour north of the Rollerblade offices.
Yeah, so, I know.
So you could kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I also want to come out and snowboard out there sometime. That whole area. Got a bunch of mountains I want to go to.
Have you ever been out east before to snowboard?
The one time Tom Heiser flew us all out and we all went snowboarding for a day. Me and Sizemore, Cody Porsche, Rob G.
Where'd you go?
Mount Sunapee.
Okay.
That's
pretty cool close to Rollerblade over there.
Yeah. It's I can't remember. It's close to Hanover though, but yeah. That was a cool mountain though. I was pretty surprised how nice it was.
Yeah, I haven't been there. It's actually New Hampshire, the ski area.
Oh, is it? Yeah. It's all super small states over there for sure.
But I live north, so I live by some good spots like Jay Peak.
That one looks cool.
Famous
spot.
Go to that one. Yeah, I have a season pass for Jay Peak, and it's pretty fun. Cool. So we don't have much snow right now. It's been a bad season for skiing.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Because over here it's like the opposite. It's like the first time in like 5-ish years it snowed a good amount.
So I know you're a big snowboarder, and you talked about it on your Jump Street podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about snow already, might as well get into a few questions I had for you as far as snowboarding goes. And in Jump Street, you had mentioned there was a period where you had quit skating for like a couple years, and you just focused a little bit on snowboarding during that time more.
Yeah.
So, what were you doing when you weren't snowboarding? Because 2 years there's summertime in between there. You weren't skating. What was occupying your time?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a few years at the most. It's probably like a 2 year span at the most. Probably there's probably a solid year where I didn't skate, or maybe I did skate, but it was just only like here and there. I don't know. I wouldn't say I quit skating. I just didn't skate as much. I was definitely snowboarding a bunch, and then in the summertime out here, you can actually still snowboard, and that was like 1 or 2 seasons. Um, yeah, I would just snowboard in the summer. You can drive up to Tahoe, and then there's like these big snow patches that stick around. Like if it's a good snow year, they'll stay until like September, sometimes August, September, and then it snows again in October a lot of times. So it's right on like the Pacific Crest Trail. It's like a famous hiking trail. But yeah, it's like just out there in the mountains. I don't know what it is, but it just stays like really cold and windy all summer in that area. So snow sticks in the area, and people bring rails and stuff out there. But I haven't done that in a long time. But when I first got into snowboarding, I was like super into it and go out there a whole bunch. And yeah, there's like one full year where I wasn't skating that much. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I still skated a little bit, but it wasn't like, yeah, it was. I definitely was considering myself a snowboarder for a second there. It was kind of interesting.
Why did you stop skating for that 2 years?
I was just I don't know, I just got into it right at a moment when I had stopped skating for Valo. And then after that happened, I just I don't know. I just kind of went with it because there was a bunch of buddies that also bladed, that snowboarded at the time, lived in my area, and just went there. I went snowboarding for the first time, or like not the first time, but started getting more into it and met a bunch of other people. And I don't know, I just kind of got really into it for a little bit there.
How long ago was that now? What year would you say?
2009 was when I first started snowboarding. So yeah,
Okay.
2010, 2011. That was when I was most into snowboarding. It was like the second season I was snowboarding, second, third ones.
How about
Yeah.
this winter? Have you been out?
Yeah, only like 3 days. It was storming so much, and then now it's just like crazy, crazy holiday crowds for a while.
Oh yeah,
Kind of a
I've
drag.
definitely experienced those.
Yeah,
What's your
Tahoe's
what's your
really
home mountain
good.
there?
I guess I always used to go to Boreal. It's not really a mountain; it's more of a small hill. It's definitely a small mountain. But I go to North Star a lot too. So North Star and Boreal, I guess I'd say, are two home mountains. But yeah,
The only
usually
place I've been up there is Alpine Meadows.
Alpine's great. I like
When
Alpine a
we
lot.
went up there, when do you remember like Destructure Skate Shop? They had one in
Yeah. I do remember.
Montreal, and then there was like Zikwe was running one, I believe, in like SF area.
Yeah, I forgot that was
Um,
actually a big ski shop in
well,
Canada.
well, Felix Ryu from Destructure, he did an event at Alpine Meadows back in, I'd say, around 2002. And John
Oh,
Elliott, myself, and Chris Peel drove up, and it was like a skiing event, and everyone skied. Back then I only snowboarded, so I didn't actually ski. Now, since I live in Vermont, I ski,
yeah, that's funny.
which I love it. But with snowboarding, is there any snowboarders who have influenced your snowboarding style?
Um, I mean, I definitely have some favorite snowboarders, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Who's your
Definitely watch,
favorite?
definitely watch a lot of snowboarding. I like Mike Rabb a lot. Um, that's like a Northeast guy. He's originally he used to ride like Loon Mountain a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Loon's right by an hour south of me.
but yeah, I definitely don't snowboard like that guy. I wish I could, but definitely like that kind of snowboarding, kind of wild style kind of stuff. But
Has your snowboarding like influenced your skating?
yeah, I'd say so a little bit for sure. Because once I started snowboarding, it kind of shaped my skating a little differently. Because snowboarding, when you're riding the park and stuff, it's kind of just like riding a skate park. But then all the rest of the mountain kind of have a lot of freedom to go do whatever you want, because it's not like you're confined to like a certain launch or a rail or a stair set. You can go hit little side hits and bumps and do all that kind of stuff, and kind of just open my eyes a little bit, just what you can do at a skate spot. But yeah, it's definitely helped a lot. Gets me a little more hype for skating too.
On snowboards and skis, you can go a lot bigger than you can on skates, just because you're on snow. And I know when Haffey started skiing that first season, that's when he was boosting all those big airs and like drip drop and stuff.
Yeah.
Has snowboarding had a similar thing where you've maybe gotten bigger on blades than you would have had you not snowboarded?
No, I'd say, because when I did I never even did that big of tricks, but when I did try and do bigger tricks, I was like before I started snowboarding. So
Okay.
if anything, snowboarding kind of digressed it, but yeah, I don't know. I when I first started snowboarding, I used to kind of do bigger stuff, but these days I kind of keep it a little more chill, so I don't destroy my body. I want to make it through the whole season and still be able to skate and whatnot.
Do you plan on snowboarding a lot this season?
I want to. It's hard these days. I got not as many people to snowboard with. They all either moved out of the way or like stopped snowboarding. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I still got a few homies, so I'll get out, but I usually manage like 20, 30 days. So
yeah, I spent the last 3 seasons pretty much skiing by myself. So having people to ski with and snowboard with is definitely nice. And one more question about winter sports. You had mentioned that you had skied before when you were a kid, and you said on Jump Street that you would be into trying skiing again. That was about 2 years ago. Have you tried skiing since your Jump Street interview?
No, I've been meaning to get some skis from Rollerblade, because they actually the parent company owns Nordica, which is a big ski company.
I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, they're super popular, because anytime I'm in line at the mountain, I always see the skis that they sell, and I always wanted to grab a pair, but think like trying to snag a pair, because definitely looks really fun these days. It looks super fun. That's why I think first got into snowboarding is back 12, 13 years ago. The rail skiing didn't look as interesting as like the guys these days. I think it looks super cool. That's why I definitely always interested to try it. But
it's definitely I think you would dig it. I mean, to me it feels just like blading.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why if I could combine the two, it'd be really rad. I definitely want to try it again. I haven't been able to try it since I was like 6 maybe.
Well, you have a good opportunity with Rollerblade being owned by Nordica, and
right.
I think the group
skate the ski program. I'm just like, hey, send me some skis, maybe we could.
Because I skate their Blizzard skis. I love them. It's one of the brands underneath Technica.
There's there's the Park Enforcer. That's the ski that I was trying to get. That's like their park ski. That looks pretty.
Yeah, rad. Those are nice. The Nordic. It's the Nordic Enforcer.
Yeah, those ones are cool.
Yeah, you should definitely call up Miles and Tom and have them get you some stuff this winter, and let's see a ski edit.
I think I've actually asked for him a while back, and I was like right around the time Tom Heiser messed up his knee on skis, and he was like, didn't want me to mess up my knee, and I'm kind of scared of that too, because I know you can do that pretty easy on skis. Another reason why I haven't tried it, but my knees are pretty messed up as it is. But
it's funny, I feel safer. I always felt like I got hurt more on snowboards than on skis.
Yeah,
like with muscles and stuff. Like I would pull my muscles worse on the snowboard. I think it's just the way I was locked into my bindings and stuff. Like it affected different muscles.
No, that's for sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to some skating history of Sean Keane.
Cool.
When did you start skating? How old were you? What year was it?
Year 2000, I'd say. 12. That was right when I first got my first aggressive pair of skates, at least. So I had I had rec skates I'd play like street hockey with and cruise around when I was younger. But yeah, first aggressive pair of skates was the year 2000. And yeah, it was a pair of Solomon ST9s, I believe. Like the off-white khaki ones. Yeah, those were the first pair of skates I got.
I had those same skates.
Yeah, they were
around 1999, I'd say.
Good pair of skates for your first pair of skates. Can only imagine what it'd be like if I got one of some of these skates these days back then. But yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool that some of those skates like the Solomons, they have all the 3D printing, new parts for them with wider soles and
right.
Which is kind of cool. Like you basically have a new modern technology for old boots. which I find fascinating. Um, when you said, well, you played roller hockey before you skated. I did the same thing. I loved roller hockey. Have you played any roller hockey like throughout the years at all
No,
for
as
fun?
soon as it's like I was into, not, I guess not. I didn't actually play in a league or anything. I just played street hockey,
Yeah, I
more
mean,
like,
it's just like pick, with
yeah,
friends,
yeah.
right?
But and then I lived right by this like the professional hockey team in Arizona. That's where I was living at the time. I lived right by their like practice facility. It was like ice skating rink, so I'd go there a lot too when I was started skating, and I feel like that kind of helped out my skating. But I would go there a lot, and I started uh trying to get into ice hockey. I was about to start playing, and then I got into uh trying to do grinds and stuff, and I just fully stopped doing every sport I played, and only like skated from there on out ever since, pretty much.
That's a pretty similar story to myself, actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends did the same thing. As soon as they found skating, they just fully stopped all the other sports.
What was the first video you ever saw?
First skate video I ever saw. The skates I got them from this old shop called Skate Stop. It's such a random site. They actually lingered around for a long time selling really old skates.
They were in
Uh,
Florida, yeah?
I can't remember,
I think
but
so.
it was just there wasn't that many websites online. I think I remember I ordered them online, like back then it wasn't pretty that common to order something online without talking to anybody or anything. I ordered it from them, and it came with a free video. It came with a bunch of free stuff, a bunch of trash. Like it came with like weird grind plates that were like useless, but it came with a TV 3 or 5, or it was like a Chris Edwards tour video. It's like birth tour video. But I remember that was the very first video I saw. It was only 15 minutes long, maybe even less. But yeah, it was the very first video I ever saw. And then like right after that, I conveniently lived like right next to a skate shop in Arizona. It's called like Scottsdale Blades. I went there and grabbed a video. The first real video I saw was Amateur. That was the first skate video I owned and actually like watched on repeat and really got into and whatnot.
That was a good video.
Yeah, that's why like right off the bat, Vinnie Minton was like my favorite skater ever. Yeah, there was a bunch. That was a really sick lineup in that video. I can't remember exactly, but Alex Miranda was in there. Vinny, I think Dom Moscona was in there a little bit too.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah,
I have to check it out again.
yeah, right.
What video, like, in your early career had the most significant influence on your skating?
I remember obviously the first Mind Game blew my mind because I was only skating for like a year when that first Brain for Gone video came out. I definitely kind of, everybody started skating a little different after that, or trying to. But before that, I used to watch Elements 2 a lot. One of my friends had Elements 2, and I would watch that video more than anything else, I think. But it's funny because that video was actually already out for like a couple years when I started skating, or a year or two at least.
Yeah, that was definitely an earlier video.
Yeah,
That was really good.
For some reason, it was older than Amateur, I'm pretty sure too. But that video was, I watched that so much that I definitely like kind of try to emulate some of the guys in there, especially like Dustin Latimer's part in there, because he was like the local hero in Arizona, or not always. He's always been the local hero, but yeah, definitely like really love that video.
Who was your favorite section in Brain for Gone?
Ooh, Brain for Gone. It's a tough one. I mean see, that's just pretty hard. I definitely like Dustin Latimer's part, but I remember for some reason I really loved John Elliott's part when I was a kid. Like there's something about the music in that video, because I didn't listen to Pink Floyd ever before that. That was the first time I even really listened to that. I just really love that part. I remember the way it was made, the tricks he was doing. He's kind of doing more like solid basic tricks compared to like the huge hammer stuff, but then he was hitting them in more creative ways. That one always the whole video stuck with me, but I always remember liking that one a lot.
I love John's section of video. I mean, like you said, he could make a basic trick look amazing.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch him do a mistrial than watch somebody else do like 450 back royale.
Yeah, it was also like I was like a kid and all I could do was Machio rails a lot of times, and he was doing like the sickest Machios in there and doing all sorts of cool lines and stuff. And yeah, that was kind of stuck with me and got me hyped up to skate.
Cool. Well, I like that answer.
Yeah, I didn't really thought about it until then, but I still, yeah, when the song from his part comes on, that's like the first thing I even think of, that guy's part.
So you said, Dustin Latimer had an influence on you. Who would you say would have been your main influence in your entire career? That kind of was there anyone who kind of shaped the way you skated up until today?
Definitely lots of different influence over the years, but yeah, for the longest time, like I said, like Vinny was my favorite skater for a lot of those years when I was younger. Definitely tried to skate like that, but I never actually could pull it off. He's like one of the only people that looks that great skating. But yeah, I definitely used to try and emulate that guy. Dustin Latimer was always my favorite, still is. But yeah, I don't know. There's tons of different skaters over the years that I really liked. More recently, I guess, like I'd say like 5 or 6 years ago, I definitely got a little more inspiration from like when Dirtbox was around. Scott Blackmore and Harry Abel, those two were making edits, and those edits is really, I don't know, they kind of inspired skate in certain spots, filming, or at least filming on that kind of stuff. And then yeah, obviously Colin Martin was coming to town a lot to film with Casey Bugazzi. And I just remember one day, this is before, I mean, people with filming and posting stuff on their phones, but a lot of times it was like, their old edits or clips from a real camera. And we just filmed one day on his phone and got a couple clips, and that kind of just, or the stuff we were filming on isn't anything I would ever film, kind of inspired me to start filming that kind of stuff. And I didn't really realize people actually like that kind of skating, and yeah, or like that kind of skating for me at least. But yeah, I kind of, he definitely has always been a big inspiration these last couple of years, as for a lot of other people.
He's an amazing skater. I've always loved his
Yeah,
skating.
he has a good.
He's been doing that he's just been creative for such a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Really old videos even.
When you moved up to Sacramento, did you get a chance to skate with Vinny Minton at all? Did you go to Bay Area?
Yeah, back when I was younger, see his whole squad around at like Glen Cove. If you'd go there, always be big sessions there. That's where I first saw Victor and Yvonne. And then yeah, randomly see Vinny there too. But then just like over the years, I started skating with like Casey Bugazzi and all the other guys from SAC, all the older guys, and they skated with him and stuff. So I eventually became homies with Vinny and all those dudes too. So it was kind of rad. So
that scene up there was incredible. Every town in the Bay Area had their heroes there, and even SAC. SAC's always had a good history of skaters.
Yeah, a long time ago, there's a lot of skating happening here. These days, it's a little bit still, but yeah, people used to come from all over to come through here and film and stuff. It was pretty rad.
Yeah, we used to always go up there and stay with Dustin.
Yeah. There's a couple tours you guys did that rolled through. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, there was the one we went up there. You had mentioned Jump Street, that was the 4x4 tour with rims, and you went back and skated that ledge in Fresno that Haffey has skated.
Oh yeah,
drop ledge.
Yeah.
And then we went to Sacramento after that, because we went to Sacramento for a contest. There was this contest in Sacramento on that trip.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think
it was like a street comp.
Yep.
And that was a fun trip. That was the only 4x4 / Remedies tour we did together.
Oh no way!
With Kato and Remedies, so it was fun. Except he had a lot of stinky cheese with him in the car that melted in the Sacramento heat. It melted into the vents.
You guys came out in the summer.
It was hot.
So hot out here.
It was crazy because we were in SF, it was like 47, and then we're in SAC, it was like 110.
Yeah, that's why. In the summertime, you usually go to the Bay a lot to skate. Sure.
So tell me about Desert Canyon Middle School. Any experiences?
Yeah, that's where I went to school in 7th grade. I only went to school there for like 1 year, and then I moved here. But yeah, that's like the infamous I guess people in Arizona only know it, but it's like called Secret School there. So it's like the most famous, like Dustin Latimer, clips and Rain for Gone. There's like a school with all the ledges everywhere. He does some lines at night. But yeah, that was like the whole school looks like that. There's a bunch of clips actually all over in videos. Or recently I saw a clip of Aragon skating like the handicap rail transfer to this ledge. But yeah, over the years, tons of clips have gone on there. But yeah, it was pretty interesting because that's like a year or two into skating. I went to school there in 7th grade, and it was kind of wild to go there. So yeah, it was like probably the illest place to skate around at the time. And yeah, it was really cool. And then when I go back and visit, we would always go skate it still.
Did you ever get in trouble for skating there when you were a student?
No, surprisingly not. Never. It was pretty common. A lot of people there was at that time skating it was dying off a little bit, but it's still really popular. So there was tons of people, tons of other bladers too, and they were all skating there. And yeah, these days there's actually a skate park across the street. So I don't even know if people still skate there ever. I know they eventually capped everything, but they didn't really actually cap it. They just put big square blocks on the ledges, so you could still skate a lot of the stuff. But yeah, there's like a nice skate park across the street there now. That's the last time I went over there. Yeah, that place is definitely cool. I bet there's still cool stuff to skate there.
I don't think I've been at school. We did a few trips to Arizona with 4x4 and NIM, but we did mainly ditches and skate parks, not really too many schools.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of great ditches out there, but surprisingly, yeah, there's schools. Arizona in general, there's a lot of skate spots. It's like they don't have too many too much landscape, so they make up for it with a bunch of the architecture and ledges and big stair sets and stuff, wall rides, and yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in Arizona. I love going. I haven't gone out there in a long time. I need to go back, but I love skating out there. It always used to be one of my favorite places.
It was always too hot for me. I remember, one summer we were there on tour and we're at the skate park at night and it was like 110 degrees at night. I'm like,
dude, yeah, it's super crazy.
There's no sun. It's 110. That's miserable.
Yeah, it can still stay super hot at nighttime. It'll say over 100 degrees. That's super wild. Forgot about that.
You forgot? I still remember. I'm like, that's why I moved away from Texas.
It gets hot here, and it gets just as hot in Sacramento. It gets like 110 in the summer and stuff, but it doesn't stay hot at night like that all the time. It usually cools down quite a bit, but yeah.
That's tolerable. In Austin, it would be so hot during the day, and at nighttime it's just humid and hot.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Arizona's wild. I definitely want to go back there. That's one of my favorite places to skate.
For skate sponsors, obviously you skate for Rollerblade right now, blank Rollerblade, and then you skated for Valo in the past. So did you have any other skate sponsors in your career?
Yeah, I've had some over the years. Those are the two. I've only had 2 boot sponsors. Just those 2.
What about what other sponsors have you had?
Eulogy. Skate for Eulogy. I got a pro wheel with them. Orange Wheel Company, I had a pro wheel with them before that. Little smaller company out of Canada. Some homies like Kevin LaPierre skated for Rollerblade. He skated for them. So I started
yeah, I'm familiar with them. They have really cool graphics. I think I like the new line. I think it's pretty good.
All that new stuff is homie Justin Barr.
Yeah, Justin Barr.
Yeah, he's the homie. All that art stuff he does is super sick. I want him to do some stuff for Blank. Definitely think it'd be rad.
Right.
But yeah, and then before that, I skated for Ground Control for a little bit, or for a while, I guess, on and off, because yeah, before, way back in the day, I actually skated for 4x4 Rat Tail.
Yeah, I remember.
And I skated for Ground Control when it was part of Rat Tail for a little bit, Ground Control and 4x4, and then I just I don't know what happened, but I stopped skating for 4x4 and I started skating like 50-50 frames for a little bit. But yeah, can't really think of any other random sponsors I've had.
So right now it's just Rollerblade and Roller Warehouse. Or is Roller Warehouse, I mean, you work for, are they sponsoring you too?
I mean, I work at Roller Warehouse, so I don't really consider that per se. But yeah, I guess no, yeah, you're right. My first sponsor was Roller Warehouse when I first moved here when I was a kid. I first got hooked up because one of the kids that went to my middle school his dad was the owner, and I started getting like it was like just like a 20% discount. They're like, oh, it's Rick Davis's son's kid, or like his son's friend, and that's how I first got a discount. But then eventually a bunch of homies started working there, and they would tell the owner like, oh, you should hook this guy up, and finally they started giving me discounts. I don't think I ever got like full skates or anything for free or anything like that, but they'd always hook me up with like fat discounts and stuff over the years.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Do they hook you up with anything now, if you ask them?
Yeah, now these days, since I work there, yeah, I get whatever I want. Although I usually just skate my skates pretty much stock these days a lot of times, so I don't really ask for too much. Yeah.
What how did you get on rollerblade to begin with?
Yeah, that's so long ago. I'm trying to think. I stopped skating volos. I was snowboarding a bunch, and I wasn't too sure on what skates I wanted to skate. I went to the shop. I went to Roller Warehouse, and I just tried on every skate. That one just fit my foot the best, I guess. It just felt the best right out of the box. And I first got a pair right before we went to one of the last barn burner competitions in Seattle. And so I just needed a pair of skates, and I grabbed those and went skating on that trip with them. And I liked them a lot and kept skating them. And I think the owner of Roller Warehouse told Tom Heiser that I was skating him, and then he contacted me, and I just got floated some skates, and I was pretty trying to think what else, like how I actually like fully got on the team. But I think I went on a trip with them eventually after a little bit. But first started getting float stuff right around 2009, 2010.
So you've worked your way up all the way to getting a pro skate.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's definitely, growing up in the era I did, that's something I kind of mentally gave up on a long time ago, was the thought of getting a pro skate for sure. Because, growing up in the era of Haffey and Latimer and all those kind of guys, you're like, I don't know, kind of overshadowed a lot of the amateur skaters that are coming up, unless you were like, crazy Montre Bellino level of skating. But definitely worked my way up over the years.
It's pretty awesome that you got a skate, and it's a really cool looking skate.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped because it's not only just like, it's a skate I like. So, it's a skate they got rid of. I kept skating after they got rid of it, and they decided to bring it back. So even if it wasn't my pro skate, I would be super hyped about it. So
I wanted to ask you, on Jump Street, you had talked about the solos, how you loved them so much, and they weren't going to make them, and you might have to skate new jacks, and if you didn't like them, you might just have to buy your own skates from somebody else. Did that interview play a role in them making this blank skate with your name on it?
No, they had the idea of this being my pro skate like right from the get-go, I guess. It was like 2-ish years ago. I guess it might be a little more now, but Tom Heiser was asking me, or he's probably asking everybody else too, like what RB skate could they, turn into an aggressive skate? Because that's like, they have some great molds, like the Twister is a great skate. There's a couple other ones too, but they're just asking us what they could possibly throw a sole plate onto that would be cool. And I mean, the Twister is the only one that could possibly do it, and I like that skate, but the whole bottom of it, I just thought it'd be way too much work, and it's a race heel skate. And I was just like, why don't you guys own the molds of the solo still? You could still, just use that as the basis of a skate, essentially. And I don't know, he thought about that and kind of pitched that idea, and probably, I don't know. I think that was the start of it. And eventually, a couple months later, he hit me up and said they're bringing that skate back, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And and then he hinted that it was going to be my skate. I didn't really believe him, because I don't know, everything with some skate companies works in long periods. It's like Rollerblade, sometimes they work in like 2-year intervals. Like that's why it took a long time for this to come out. On top of, I mean, we had to make everything and research and skate it and all that.
So does that mean you knew about the skate before your Jump Street interview?
Yeah, pretty sure I did. Yeah.
So you're playing Koi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I knew it was my skate. I can't remember how long ago that was.
It was
During
like
binary. Oh no
June
no no
of
no. Yeah, see that I forgot how old that Jump Street interview was. That was when I was out there filming for Binary with Mike Torres. So that was before I knew.
Okay, that was before you knew.
At that moment, that Binary part, I thought that was going to be my last part in rollerblades or rollerblade solos, or
Yeah, because you had mentioned that you would, if you had to skate New Jacks, you would just try something different.
Yeah. I forgot the timing of that Jump Street one. So I've been in New York a couple times over the last couple years, but yeah, that was before they told me that they were bringing that skate back, and yeah, I didn't know that was my pro skate or anything like that.
In the past, you skated intuition liners, right? Your
Yeah,
skates.
Yeah. Like 5-ish years ago, I started skating them. It's like not too many people were skating them at the time, so I thought it was kind of cool to try it out.
How do these stock liners in your pro skate compare?
Surprisingly, they're pretty good. Like once I started skating intuition liners, I felt like they made my whole skate way better, and that's like all I wanted to skate. I didn't want to switch it out to anything else. So once they made this new skate and they developed this new liner, they told me I had to skate this liner, and I was a little scared for a second just because I didn't think it'd be anywhere near as good as an intuition. But surprise is, and then on top of that, I broke my ankle 2-ish years ago, so I was extra, cautious of what it might feel like. But surprisingly, they feel super good for a stock liner and a skate. I don't know what it is, but they use some special foam. It's definitely not like the feeling of an intuition, that ski boot kind of foam liner, but yeah, it's really comfortable. It feels good on my ankle. They break in nice. I think still probably make some improvements to it too. But overall, they're definitely instantly one of the better liners on the market. I think. I try like every liner on that comes into the shop in multiple skates a lot of times too.
That's good to hear. I would definitely need to try a pair on next time I'm down at Rollerblade. I know the guys Miles and Josh are both skating them. We've been skating some parks.
Yeah, I have a bunch of buddies that got their hands on those, and they skate them in a bunch of other different boots too. So it's cool to see that they fit good in other skates, and they look good in other skates and stuff.
So you've had 2 versions of your skate come out so far, one with black wheels and one with white wheels.
Oh yeah.
But they're still limited in sizes, right? You don't have the small and the larger sizes available yet?
Just 8, 9, 10. The smaller and larger sizes, they're out there in the wild right now, getting tested by a bunch of random rollerblade skaters and friends and stuff like that.
Any estimation when the other sizes will be released?
I'm not too sure. I know they're doing like a spring refill kind of on those few sizes, because a lot of shops ended up wanting to get them in the end. At first, I don't think a lot of people realized what the skate was going to be, so none of the shops, or a lot of shops, didn't order them. But yeah, and then once people saw the skate, a lot of places, or they sold out of the first 1,000 that they, or at least I think it was 1,000. But yeah, so then they ordered another batch of them in the spring. So that's the same 3 sizes, but hopefully a couple months after that in the summer is when the rest of the sizes should hopefully be out. Not too sure on the time interval on that, but
yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot with it. I can see, I know they did some small runs. I was all thinking they would probably sell a lot more if they had them in, especially right before Christmas.
Yeah, if they would have had more at the time, they could have sold triple that amount probably. But
especially with the amount of marketing they did, they had a lot of people do reviews and they built a big demand. But
yeah, it was definitely a lot of hype around it right when it first launched. A lot of people loved it, and yeah, it's pretty cool to see, because it was like I was kind of unsure, because that solo skate wasn't the most loved skate ever, because it was definitely a pretty hideous looking skate. So in my eyes, I was like, oh, the skate looks a little bit better. But once I saw how hype people were, I was like, all right, the skate's gonna be way better. It skates better, it looks better, so I'm happy overall.
So obviously it's a beta skate, which means it's in testing still, even though it's been released.
Yeah.
Have you any feedback from people? Have they discussed anything that they might change in further releases with the skate? Is there anything you want to see different?
The year just started. I've been thinking about that. I need to actually get in touch with Heiser and the rest of the gang and see what's going on with that, with any updates or upgrades in the skate. But yeah, I've definitely had some people, telling me some random stuff. I've had a lot of people actually tell me they like the skate as is, and then we shouldn't change it at all. But yeah, overall, a lot of people say they're heavy. They don't like the length of the blank frame, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is the frame. The frame's a super solid, thick sidewall with big, meaty, like UFS area is all reinforced. So yeah, that definitely makes it really heavy. And I feel like it's only size 8, 9, 10, but they had the 8 and the 9 have the medium, and the 10 had the large frame. They should have had the medium frame, I think, because the blank frames are actually pretty long. They're pretty long wheelbase frames compared to other frames in the medium size. So the medium could have gone on the 10 because the large is extra heavy for a frame. I feel like that's why a lot of people they're heavy in general just because they come flat and then on top of that frame. But so yeah, hopefully, I don't know what we could do about that, but yeah, come down weight. Overall they still skate good. So
You work at a skate shop, so I mean, a lot of people don't want to stock skate anyway, right? They like try to do boot only or
yeah, that's another thing
or
too.
frames. Like, I mean, how many people that order skates like order it's like stock or versus how many people get them customized or just boot only?
Usually this price point skates, like really cheaper, like the cheapest skates, people get them stock. But yeah, more expensive skates, people usually, depending on what parts come with them, a lot of times they'll switch out the frame, switch out the wheels, bearings, switch out the liner. So yeah, that's why big thing, the big complaint about the skates being the frames, or the blank skates being the frames. A lot of people switched them out anyway, so that's why I think a lot of people aren't complaining too much.
I mean, I've seen, the Mesmer skates just came out and a couple of riders already took off the stock frames and riding different frames.
Yeah, those are good frames. But it's funny because I skate the blank frames. I think you know they're actually pretty darn good. They slide a lot better than any other frame I've skated recently. But yeah, the wheelbase is a little long, so it just depends on what size you're at. It might feel a little weird. I think that's another thing that people are experiencing. But overall, definitely some changes to like the liner maybe in the future. But yeah, not maybe some stuff with the cuff, but I don't think there's that much going on there that people are really complaining about that we might change.
Has there been any discussion on releasing different colors
of yeah, for sure.
Like yeah, white skates?
Yeah, definitely a lighter color in the future, for sure. Yeah, this skate did pretty darn good. It's also like the whole beta thing, and releasing a couple sizes was a little bit to test the waters and see how hyped people would be on the skate. And yeah, people, the feedback so far has been great. So they're gonna put it in the works. The next skate, yeah, should be a different color.
Yeah, all the feedback I've heard has been positive. The only thing I've heard negative is that they just can't get the sizes they wear on the smaller, bigger size. But as far as the people who get them, that for their size, like I've heard good things about them. I've never skated blank frames. I think they'd be fun. What's the max wheel size those frames fit on them?
60s, I think. 60s? But it depends on, some skates have wheel wells, so you can go a little bigger than that on those too. But
what's your favorite size aggressive wheel setup?
58 or 60, anything around that range. For a little bit I skated bigger wheels, 64 millimeter, but went back down. Yeah, I like a mid-size wheel at 58, 60 at same range. Comes stock on most skates.
Oh, I've been skating the Wish frames with a 72 and outside.
Yeah,
I like that just because it's like fast,
Those are definitely cool frames. I like the way those feel.
I want to go back to, earlier you had mentioned how you got a pro skate at such an older age compared to like, when you thought you might get one when you're young or whatever, like when half of them got theirs when they were like 16 or 17. Yeah. Well, it seems that today a lot more skaters are getting pro skates at an older age, from them, and like Mesmer,
Oh yeah.
everyone's kind of older now getting pro skates. What do you think about that change, from a
Um,
decade ago?
well, I think it's obviously just because real, there isn't any young skaters. There's not that many, especially in the U.S. That's why I think it's super rad that John gave a Moopy a skate. You gotta hook up the youth right now if there is any. Every skate company should be grabbing onto every young kid they can find and making them their poster child. I feel like that's the move that not too many skate companies are doing. Besides John, but yeah, definitely a little different than when I grew up, where your idols were like only like a couple years older than you, but they were getting their pro skates and stuff when they're coming out of high school and stuff. Compared to now, where everybody's like in their 30s getting skates and stuff. But I think it's rad. This last couple years, yeah, a bunch of people got skates, long overdue, long with me too. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see that people are still getting skates at older ages. But I think overall it'd be cool to see younger kids again get
Well, they're out there,
yeah,
they just need to get sponsored. I mean, if you look at like Icon, their entire AM team's under,
yeah, exactly, right there. Yeah,
18.
those guys are actually doing it right too. Most
So,
companies have kids, but I feel like definitely need to hook them up as much as possible. Try and get more kids interested in it by having some younger skaters be the face of some companies, for sure.
well, Icon's almost kind of doing what Rollerblade, how what would you with Rollerblade, where they're just turning their AMs, all their AMs they want to make into pros.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they need. Yeah, they're just, a lot of companies don't have that. Like, when I was younger, I definitely remember there's kind of a, not a clear path, but you skate flow for long enough, you might get on an AM team, and you skate there for long enough, and you'll be on a pro team possibly. But yeah, these days it's kind of just like everybody just gets flowed stuff forever, for eternity. That's like the name of the game if you are sponsored. But yeah,
so obviously, them kind of started a whole new trend with royalties. It's kind of went on to Powerside and Icon and Mesmer. Has Rollerblade changed how they're doing royalties with this skate?
yeah, for sure. I think forever, even back in rollerblading's most popular heyday, it was like $2 a skate. You would get some pretty measly amount for a skate that retails at 200, 250, or $300. But yeah, the would have normally been like $2. I think they ended up giving me like $8 a skate. Pretty sure that's what it was. So yeah, but then in the end they're gonna end up making quite a few skates. So it'll end up being, it's a pretty cool payout for never making enough skating. It's pretty rad to see it.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That was pretty rad. I'll talk about your skating itself a little bit. Um, in your opinion, when were you in your prime of skating? Is it today? Was it in the past?
Yeah. I guess I think about that all the time, because I always think, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, my body's so broken right now, and I think about, I feel like I'm in like my worst condition, but like shape wise. But then I think back like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I've been thinking that for a while now, ever since like mid-20s. I thought my knees were going out and all that stuff. Um, but I don't know. I'd say the 3, 4 years ago, that was like my most prime in skating. But then there's also an era like back when I was younger. Just the fact that I was younger, I was able to do a lot bigger stuff without really thinking about it at all. I was definitely in a prime back then, but overall, just like the best overall skating that I've been most pleased with, and just the way I skate was, yeah, 2016, 2017. That that era right there. I feel like that's kind of what got people kind of liking my skating a little more too, is those couple years right there.
Well, I think
Yeah.
just your promo edit for the blank skate, that skate park edit, just some of the tricks you did in that, the cess slide to grind,
No, thanks. Yeah, yeah.
tricks you did. I mean, those were pretty mind blowing. They're pretty unique. No one else really does them. Um, where do you get like your inspiration for doing those types of tricks?
It's definitely like a melt of stuff over the years. Um, yeah, another guy you didn't mention earlier that I liked a lot was Shima. Shima was another huge inspiration, just because the fact like grew up in like a Japanese family. He's not or maybe he's Japanese, but Asian pro skater. I thought that was super rad to see when I was younger. But a lot of the tricks he did huge hammer stuff, but then he also did a lot of like, I remember distinctly he did one of the first like slide into like a slot alley fish at a skate park on like a shotgun ledge. And yeah, that always stuck with me. I always liked doing that kind of, and I
think I filmed that clip actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on one of those tours probably. But yeah, that was one of the very defining trick that I still think about a lot. And I mean, I'm essentially just doing different variations of that trick a lot of times. But yeah, I don't know. I get inspiration from a lot of other skaters around me, but a lot of times the tricks I'm thinking of, it's more, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to hurt myself trying some stuff I know I can't do. So I'll not sit around, but I'll kind of poke around at some ideas that seem interesting in my head until I might come up with something that is, might be pleasing to land or feel good to try and make it look all right. Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a perfectionist when it comes to your tricks?
Maybe a little bit in some ways, because like a lot of times, like the clips that I actually do post that people see, those are like the first or second try or like one at the trick I actually land, and then I go on for about an hour or two where I'll try and like recreate or like do it, because in my head I think I can do it better. I almost always think I can do it better. So yeah, I'll like if like any of the people I film with, yeah, like I said, usually we'll get the clip like right from the get-go, and then I'll try it for like another hour or two. Then we never end up using any of those tries or anything. So yeah, a little bit of perfectionist, but I don't end up ever actually perfecting the trick. So yeah, in a way, I guess I'm not.
So you're not satisfied with the trick?
Yeah, most of the time, most of the time, all the tricks I post aren't the actual ones I would have actually gone with.
Interesting. So back to that promo edit you did for your the skate park edit.
That's actually that is a promo edit for the skate, but I'm supposed to film another one and kind of got cut short because like I was filming with Taylor Coburn. He's like the blank rollerblade filmer, and yeah, we were filming that and got hurt. And then after I got hurt filming it, his camera got stolen. So as soon as that happened, his camera got stolen, and ever since then, kind of been on pause a little bit for filming the promo edit for that.
Was that going to be a street edit or a park edit again?
Oh, it's street. It's all
okay.
Street.
That's what my question was actually going to be. Will we be seeing a street edit from you promoting the skate?
Oh, sorry, I cut you off then. Shit.
No, it's totally fine. You gave me the answer.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's like, yeah, I don't skate park that much. I usually only skate park big sessions and stuff, but especially if I want to go film, I usually only film, street stuff. I mean, besides like phone clips and whatnot, but yeah, I was filming with Taylor already. We had a stack of clips, and yeah, his camera got stolen, or I got hurt. I split my shin pretty good, and then like a week or two later, his camera got stolen. So yeah, it's been on pause, and then winter came around, and yeah, so hopefully, come spring, probably have a little edit to drop. Hopefully.
Has he replaced his camera yet?
He got a new camera. He actually got this. It's a new version of the DVX, the Panasonic DVX. He got it, and the fisheye wouldn't mount on it right, and the footage looks pretty cool, but it didn't match up with the old footage that we were filming on. So I'm not too sure. That's why I'm not too sure what's going on with that. I have a camera too, but I don't think it would look good with the camera he had because mine's a little older. But yeah.
Well, I know we're all excited to see this edit when it comes out.
Yeah, probably could have dropped it, but I definitely wanted it to be a little bit better than the stuff we had, at least.
You filmed with a lot of different people throughout the years. Is there one person who you enjoy filming with above the rest?
I mean, most recently I filmed with Mike Torres. That was a pretty cool experience because yeah, he had spots like, kind of he would go to skate spots and like kind of see tricks that he wanted me to do on him and bookmark them. And yeah, it was just like, and then just like he kind of had the whole edit visioned out before we even started, and it was just really interesting to film with somebody that was like, I don't know, had that kind of eye for skating. It was pretty cool. And then after that, I mean, not after that, probably equally, Carter LeBlanc. I filmed the part with him. That was probably that's probably my favorite thing I've ever filmed ever, was the one with Carter. I went to Seattle, and it was right before Northwest Shred Tour. I stayed with him for like 4 or 5 days. We filmed that edit. Yeah, same thing with him. He just had an insane knowledge of, his local area spots, and had stuff kind of just like, an eye for like the kind of skating I did. And because before that I never ever flew somewhere to film with a filmer. I always just filmed locally with people a lot of times, or if I was out of town, film with whatever filmer was there at the time. That was those two guys were the only times I ever flew somewhere to go film with somebody in their area like that. And that was just like the coolest experience, and made it like, I don't know, definitely very, like, some of my more favorite skating came out of those trips.
Of all the edits you've released throughout the years, which one's your favorite?
I'd say, yeah, that Seattle one I made with Carter. That was definitely one of my favorites. But after that, the last one I made, or I guess not the last one. I made one called Static with Casey Bagazi. That was probably the most favorite edit I've made ever, besides that Seattle one. The Static one I worked a little longer on. It was a couple months. But yeah, that was just like, in my head, I thought that was going to be one of the last parts I ever made, because at the time I don't think I made anything for a while, and I don't know. I thought I was like, all right, go out with what's going on there?
I don't know. My camera's
You see
splitting in two.
It didn't happen. Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Maybe I have to stop it and start it again.
Whoa.
Let me see. Stop video.
Yeah, it's super
there
weird.
We go. Back. Yeah. Good to see you.
Mid-interview, decided to act all weird.
Yeah, right. So sorry, I made a list. I listened to your Jump Street podcast today, so I didn't want to repeat too many of the same questions that you've done before.
Yeah. It's funny because if you did ask me, I probably wouldn't remember, because I don't think I've watched it since I did it. Or yeah. So I don't know. I'm not the most fond of interviews and stuff, or just talking about myself.
It was the Jump Street one came out really well. I think you were very articulate.
Yeah, I remember being super hyped about it coming out okay, because I thought I was just gonna look like a fucking crazy person. But yeah.
Did you ever have any interviews in print magazines? Or profiles?
I had one in BMag a long time ago. I remember. Yeah, I definitely had one in BMag. Daily Bread, no. I had some photos in Daily Bread, and then I had it coming up in Daily Bread. That was but yeah, that's the only interview in the print mag was BMag.
Coming Up's cool.
Yeah, coming up is pretty rad for sure. Yeah.
Do you remember what your first photo was in the magazine?
Oh man, that's tough. It was definitely, it wasn't an American magazine. It was a Crazy Roller.
Oh, Crazy Roller is a good magazine. Crazy
Roller was the first. Or yeah, there's another one too, out of England, Unity. Is that a Crazy Roller? I'm pretty sure it's Crazy Roller. There's like a picnic table launched up to like this big tether ball, or like wall ball court wall that had like coping on the top of it. I like back railed it. But yeah, that was the first photo I ever had in there. Or no, actually, it was either that or I was doing like a sit torque on this double set out ledge. It was actually the same ledge I skated in that Casey Bagazi edit, Static. It was like the last 3 tricks I did on it. I had my first photo in a magazine on that. It's either that one or the back rail. I can't remember. But yeah, it's Crazy Roller or Unity. One or the other. I never got an issue of either one, because the photographer, Mike Figna, he was the one that shot him. And I remember he only got like 1 issue. They'd only send him like 1 issue of that stuff. And then it was in Europe. I don't even know how to get him when I was a kid. So yeah, I don't even know what happened to those photos.
I'll have to look. I have some Crazy Rollers. I threw away a bunch of my magazines stupidly. And like,
Right, those old mags are super cool to look at. I like looking at that stuff. I still have my daily bread somewhere.
I do have a lot of crazy rollers, so I'll just go through them one day and see if I find that photo, and I'll scan it for you
Sick.
if
That'd
I
be cool.
do. So I know you mentioned that you've had a couple of injuries, past couple of years. What's the worst injury you've ever had?
Definitely the most recent one. I'm breaking my ankle. That was the shittiest, worst injury I've ever had. Still messes with my ankle. It still doesn't feel right. I can't like squat down all the way with that. Like it's kind of like my Achilles is still super tight. I don't know. It's weird to describe. It just feels weird. It's like it's nice and strong again. Like I use it a lot, but yeah, it's definitely 2 years later. It still feels really weird. So I've never had an injury like that. Besides, I guess I dislocated my elbow 2 different times. So that's definitely another one that sucks. But the ankle affects skating a lot. It's made my skating a little weird. So yeah, that's definitely the worst one.
How'd you break it?
That famous skate spot out here called the Glory Hole. It's like the big full pipe. That was like daily bread cover. They like set it on fire and Nick Riggle got like super oververt. Yeah, it's at Lake Berryessa, which is like a summertime swim spot. But people, some homies will go there sometimes and go try and skate it. And one day, a bunch of guys from the Bay were going out there, and I'd never been. I was like out of town or missed every session. Any of the other times my buddies from around here went. So I was like, oh yeah, let's definitely go. I wanted to go. Actually, I just bought a kayak too, so I thought it was like perfect opportunity to use that because you have to like get across the water to get to where that full pipe is. And yeah, so we went out there, kayaked over there, got in there. It's having a pretty good time. And yeah, it's the last go on there. I was trying to do this trick where I'd go up. I see a lot of people do it on a quarter pipe. So you go up on the quarter pipe, you do a 180, and then you vert sole down to the ground using like the edge of the quarter pipe as like the edge of a ledge, kind of like you vert sole down all the way to the ground. I did it one time. Like I was going a little bit slower. Did it one time. I wanted to get a clip in Taylor's video. That's why they were filming. So I tried to go a little faster and get up higher, and I got a lot of speed. Got up really high, and I'd missed the lock, and I just kind of like slid down the wall weird. And when I landed, there's like a little DIY skateboard ramp kind of thing that I just barely landed on, and I was just really high up, and just the way I landed, just yeah, I instantly could tell I broke my ankle. It wasn't like super gnarly. I just heard a pop, kind of, yeah. And yeah, it was just pretty interesting getting out of there because I had a kayak in there, so I had to like have them help me into my kayak and get out of there by myself. And it was like right where the car is, where you had to like get to the car. It was like White River Rapid, and the water got like really fast for a second. I had to like paddle as hard as I've ever had to paddle. Otherwise, it would have sent me down the stream for like another mile, and they would have had to pick me up like way. I don't even know where it would have sent me, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You could have picked a worse spot to get hurt at.
Exactly. That was it's pretty funny. But yeah, that I don't think I ever want to go back there again. But yeah, it's interesting experience. Shitty ass injury though. It's definitely been like the worst injury I've had.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's definitely an iconic spot.
It's all good now. It's pretty much not back to normal, but I can, it feels pretty normal when I snowboard. It feels good when I skate most of the time. Just gets a little sore. Yeah.
Have you been doing any physical therapy for it?
Right when I really wanted to get back to skating 100%. I was super serious about it, and then I started skating a little earlier than I should have, and kind of just kept skating and slowly stopped doing physical therapy. So it definitely could be way better if I would have been better with that. But these days, no, I'm not doing anything besides skating. I should probably do more, but I don't know. Kind of lazy with working and skating and stuff.
Right. So I know you've been doing a bunch of those toe cess slides, which are pretty cool. How long did it take to learn those on your skates?
Surprisingly, not too long. I think one day I was we were in Atlanta for I can't even remember why we were in Atlanta. It was a rollerblade trip. I think we were filming some like rec photo shoot randomly. And I stuck around there and skated with Chris Smith and Carson Starnes and those guys, and it started raining out there. We were at there's just like these little marble ledges we're doing cess slides on them, and I was just doing bare wheels that like slides on them, like jump up and then you just slide only on the wheel. No like plastic actual grinding cess slide action. Then yeah, I just I don't know. I started doing a flat ground, the 2 little wheel slide, and yeah, jumped up on the ledge and was able to do it. I think before then, both the times I kind of figured that trick out. It was raining. There's another time out here I just remembered where there's just like a little yellow curb, like a little tiny one. It had paint on the ground too, and I would go up and just like hit my toes into it and slide across on my toes, and like it would kind of just like it would cradle my toes, but since it was wet and it was painted, it would like let me slide across. But yeah, it was kind of different.
Did you have any hard slams learning that trick?
You can definitely eat shit really good on that trick. But no, I haven't fallen too bad on it, surprisingly. But yeah, if you miss the trick, like especially like the one I do where you lock into like a little slot or a crack, it's pretty chill if you lock in, but if you don't, you're like definitely gonna eat shit pretty awkwardly. It's like a really quick flip out because it's just like your wheels. It's nothing like actually underneath you.
Right. I've seen people fall in similar situations straight to their face. Would you ever consider making a edit of only doing Darkside tricks?
Darkside tricks? Oof. I mean, I probably could. That's like, I definitely have fun doing those, but I try not to do them too much because I feel like it's a pretty easy one to play out. That used to be like a pretty cool card to pull a couple years ago, and now there's so many people doing it. It's hard to film that many tricks like that. But I mean, I'd be down. It's hard to find good spots for that trick a lot of times, I feel like. But yeah,
that is true. I've been watching. I've been doing a section on the YouTube channel called The Vault where I go through old tapes. And
oh yeah. I haven't watched any of those, but yeah, I thought that was super rad.
So it has the session from the Fresno ledge on one of the episodes. The one you went back to skate. Yeah. That session is on one of the tapes that I put up. But there's been some other ones where a bunch of John Elliott, like, well, I haven't released them yet, but I've been working on these new episodes. John doing like some cool dark sides like back in the day, and Shima. And I was like, those are two guys that kind of had an effect on you, and they were doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, just like we were talking about that Rain for Gone part. He did a Darkside fish. He cess slid drift over on a down drop ledge. That all that kind of stuff was kind of mind blowing. The time stuck with me over the years.
Yeah, I always love going back and watching those edits or those sections from those guys. So good to this day. I mean, if they came out today, they'd be amazing still.
Right.
So I have a hypothetical question for you. If you were to own your own skate brand, what 5 team riders would you have?
That's pretty funny. It's kind of tough. What 5 team riders would I have? So yeah, there's so many skaters out there I like these days. First off, I mean, Josiah Blee, I think he's one of the greatest of all times. He's a homie of mine, but I think that guy is just one of the best ever, and I don't know how he's not sponsored. He says his knees are messed up, but he can still skate better than anybody else. Yeah, Josiah is one of them. God, that's so tough to pick 5 skaters out of everybody in the world.
I try to make it easy by giving you 5 instead of 3.
Yeah, I know. Even 5.
All right, let's move on to the next question then. Growing up, what was your favorite skating related brand?
Senate, obviously. When I first started skating, I liked Senate a lot. I still have. I went through all like some old stuff in my parents' house. I still had some Senate shirts I thought were super interesting. They were like pro t-shirts, which I didn't even remember people had, but I had like a Santiago pro t-shirt. I had a Feinberg pro t-shirt. But yeah, Senate was definitely one I really liked when I first started skating. trying to think of what else. Yeah, as far as those old clothing brands go, then it was just, yeah, I really dug that one a lot. Thought that one was super cool. Oh, Fiction. I used to like Fiction a lot too. I thought that one was cool when it was around.
Fiction I liked as well until I got a pair of Fiction jeans and they had rivets on them that were made really bad, and I have a scar in my hand from the Fiction jeans. I don't know if you can see it.
No,
I can't really see it. It's like a gnarly scar.
I think I remember getting some old skate pants from. I don't know if I don't think it was Fiction. Maybe it was someone else. But yeah, I remember getting cut by the rivets on there because they were super sharp. They were like sticking out.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I remember I used to like Jethro too. Jethro was kind of a cool brand. I had some of those cargos.
That was a cool brand.
They weren't around for what was that yours?
No, it was Angie
Oh,
Walton and
yeah.
Johnny Donahoe.
The way you said that, I almost thought that might have been yours. But no, yeah, I thought that was super cool. But I remember it was like kind of going out the door when I first got into skating. So I didn't actually. I remember I got my hands on some of the pants, but then after that, I never got anything after that. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool brands back in the day. Be Unique was cool for a little bit too, but yeah, I can't really think of any other cool stuff that I like really dug. Yeah.
So, skating has had a resurgence in the past 2 years with, everything that's going on. More skaters, companies releasing more product. And what do you think needs to happen within skating for that trend to continue?
I think, like I said earlier, some of these companies should, there's a lot of people getting into skating right now. There's a ton of people buying kids skates right now for all these like really young, like toddler aged kids. But there's that whole age group after that, in between us 30, late 20, 30-year-old kind of guys. There's a lack of teenagers and youth in skating. Definitely should try and change that, hook up some of these younger guys a little more, some younger faces out there. But overall, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else could do to, help this trend keep going besides I mean, people like Julio out there getting face of aggressive rollerblading out there, because there's a lot of stuff going on with like recreational skating. It's super popular, always has been compared to aggressive skating, but just getting it to be seen more, which is it definitely is, depends on where you're at. But yeah, I don't know, it's a tough one to say because it's kind of like it got really popular because COVID happened, and it kind of got a lot of people wanting to be more I don't know, get a hobby. There's definitely a lot of people that are my age or a little bit older that stopped skating, and that's like the majority of people that are getting into skating right now. There's a lot of people getting into it too, but yeah, I think definitely need to try and get the younger demographic to keep that fire going.
I definitely agree that Julio is doing a great job, with promoting it, doing collaborations outside of skating, getting in magazines and
Just making
billboards and all sorts of stuff.
Giving it, an identity, because no other skate company tries to do anything besides just like put out promo edits for the skates that come out, and don't really try and do anything else, make any kind of culture for skating, like how skateboarding and all these other industries have, which skating kind of lacked there for the last 10 years a little bit.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens within the industry. Lots of new brands, lots of cool things.
Yeah.
It's an older group of people doing things now, so I think they've learned a lot through the trials and tribulations of the past 20 years.
Yeah, that's why it's interesting. It's less numbers than back in the day, but the people that are around buying stuff, they're all older and they have money, so these guys are buying multiple skates and multiple setups because they want to try everything. And so yeah, it's it's chugging along still. It's pretty cool to see. So I never thought the whole time I've been skating, I never thought it would ever go up again as far as popularity or money numbers go or skate sales. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that.
I mean, we waited 12 years for that to happen with Rat Tail. It never came, so it's cool to see it now happening for other people. I want to ask you, what music are you into?
I guess I listen to a lot of different music for sure. But I definitely listen to a lot of rap, a lot of newer kind of rap, I guess. Definitely, I don't like too much old hip hop these days. I still listen to it a lot, but I like a lot of it's pretty, a lot of it's trash, and I actually acknowledge that, but I kind of, I don't know, I like it. It's always gotten me kind of hyped to skate and do
So
that
who's in
kind
your
of stuff.
playlist? Give us a selection of your.
I listen to Playboy Cardi a lot, and I hate a lot of his songs too, so it's kind of funny. A lot of his older stuff I like. Um, Trying to think who else. Listen to a lot lately. Baby Keem, it's another rapper, newer one I like a lot lately. But yeah, I don't know. That's what's funny. I listen to a lot. Like I'll listen to just like the radio too a lot of times. I can listen to whatever I like. A lot of older music, 80s music, that kind of stuff. But overall, when I'm actually like picking something out on my phone, I always put on some, some shitty rap or whatever I'm liking at the time. But yeah,
Do you skate to music ever?
no, never. I back when people first got the little Apple shuffles, the iPod shuffles, people started skating with music, and I tried it back then, and I don't know, I didn't like it. It kind of fucked with the way I skated. I like to be able to hear my surroundings. Same with like snowboarding. People used to, use music. I like to hear the ground, hear my speed, that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know about music on the mountain. Mainly, there's all those people coming.
Yeah, that
You want to
too.
hear them,
Yeah, yeah. Scary.
I want to ask you. We're almost done. I want to go on to big wheel blading. Obviously, you skate for Rollerblade. They have a big selection of skates, mainly big wheel skates and rec skates.
Yeah.
What's your current big wheel setup that you enjoy from Rollerblade, or what's your favorite big wheel setup that they make?
The old Twister is my favorite. I don't think they make it anymore though. But currently I ride the RB Cruiser, which is, it kind of looks like the Twister a little bit. But yeah, it's just slightly wider fitting hard boot skate. So I don't know. I don't have a wide foot, but I don't like super narrow skates. It definitely kind of messed my feet up over the years. I skated volleys for a long time, and all I did was Nugans and torques. I have like a extra bump on the side of my foot from the hard plastic pushing against it. So wider skates I always feel a little better. Yeah, those RB Cruisers, or I guess they're called RB 80s too. But yeah, I skate that skate right now. I like it a lot.
Are you skating a 4x80 setup on there, or are you skating bigger?
The one I have right now is 90. It's a 4x90. Yeah, I like that size a lot.
Is that your favorite setup for big wheel skates?
I always end up back on 80s just because that's like the most convenient wheel size to get. I usually throw hydrogens on there, and they don't always have 90s. But yeah, I usually ride 80s, but I like 90s the best for sure. Just feels the best to me. Sometimes I have the 3-wheel setups, but I like the 4 wheels best, more comfortable on those.
Have you done any more aggressive style skating on bigger wheels? Like, obviously subtracting the grinds and more like cruising airs.
Like, there's an old edit I actually forgot about. When we all went to Atlanta, it was like when Sizemore was still on the team. It was Sizemore, Cody Porsche, Rob G, me. And then Lonnie Gallegos was the one that made the edit. But yeah, we flew out to Atlanta and we were skating around. And there was one day where we threw Rollerblade had these plastic UFS 80mm frames way before. I don't think anybody else had them yet, but we threw them on our skates because we were just going to go cruise downtown. And that was the first time I was doing, like, we hit like a bunch of famous ATL spots out there, and I did a couple tricks on there like that, and I kind of opened my eyes on what you could do with the big wheel setups. You could do a lot of tricks you couldn't normally do with like the standard aggressive skate, smaller wheel setup or whatever. So yeah, that was definitely a little different.
Have skating big wheels changed your approach to aggressive skating or added to your trick?
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, like I said, once I went on those couple of trips. I don't always skate I actually haven't skated the bigger wheels in a while, but yeah, it was definitely making me look at spots a little differently. And the whole thing with snowboarding too. I like hitting rails and stuff on a snowboard, but I really like, carving around and stuff like that. That's like the funnest part about snowboarding to me sometimes. And yeah, like doing the big wheel stuff, it's more like cruising around and doing, carving around, and get a lot of fun out of doing that kind of stuff compared to like skating or, the usual skating where you're just skating at an object to grind it or gap it or would do whatever. It's just cruising around sometimes is kind of liberating a little bit.
That is what I love the most about, urban skating is you're actually skating,
Yeah.
like on
Yeah.
aggressive skates, you
Absolutely.
drive to a spot, you get out of the car, you skate down a rail and you walk up the stairs.
It made me want to do that on my aggressive skates more, my street skates. I want to just cruise around and go skate some fun stuff, that kind of stuff.
You think that big wheel blading's had a impact on aggressive inline? Like, I mean, a lot of aggressive skaters are skating big wheel blades now. Some
Yeah,
of them
exactly.
have transitioned, even out of aggressive to doing only big
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah.
Others have like combined the two, but it's also, I feel like it's brought a lot of people into aggressive, kind of reverse.
It's kind of interesting. It melted together because I remember back in the day when I first started skating, there was like a big thing. You definitely wanted to separate yourself as a person, as an aggressive skater that does grinds and tricks and stuff. You wanted to separate yourself as much as possible from rec skaters. When I first started skating, I remember, and then slowly over the years kind of melted together, where it's like, or at least in my head, it's like any of the people that don't like skating, they don't see any, person with big wheels, person with small wheels, there's no difference at all. And yeah, and then the blend of skating, rec skaters doing aggressive tricks and the aggressive skaters doing some, more rolling oriented kind of like toe rolls, like the double toe thing I do. That's something I definitely seen from free skaters, cone skater kind of guys doing those for way before I ever did them. So yeah, definitely a lot of crossover there, and it's super cool to see happening over the years because yeah, it's benefiting both of them for sure.
I've definitely seen a lot of slalom skaters crossing over to do aggressive now too, and I feel like
Yeah,
those slalom skaters have such good foot control,
yeah,
that they can potentially be really good at aggressive skating.
yeah, for sure. They already look like way more solid than most skaters. A lot of skaters don't even know how to skate around properly, but they can do like super hard tricks.
I've got one last question for you. And so you've been skating, most of your life now. What keeps you skating? Why do you love skating so much that you've dedicated your life to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think about this sometimes for sure, but I mean, I don't know. I definitely like it because of my friends. That's like the one thing that's kept me around a lot of times is I like to hang out with my friends and they're all still skating, and it's like the coolest thing to do with your friends, to go travel and get out and go film still. And it's kind of like nostalgic and a little bit Peter Pan syndrome where you're still young doing the same shit as you were when you're 15, 16. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a big thing. A part of it is, relationship and having, good time with my friends. That's definitely a big part of it for me. But so yeah, I don't necessarily like to push myself all crazy. If anybody that knows me, I get weirded out of contests a lot of times and don't always like to like go big or film or anything like that. So yeah, I definitely like, I like to get out there with my friends and have a good time. That's always been a big part of it. Yeah. As far as like when I actually like want to like get creative and stuff like that, that's like, I don't know, just like to do stuff that I kind of will be more hyped with or more pleased with, have that like kind of good feeling rolling away from. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say why I still skate, but those are some of the reasons for sure.
Well, that family aspect is, very big. I think pretty
Yeah.
much every skater, I mean, most skaters that grew up in that era, our era, it's been a family thing. You travel around the world, you got people to skate with, people to stay with.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
That's right,
nothing
yeah.
like it.
Definitely,
So
definitely tougher these days when there's like not as many people to skate with locally. So I still skate, but like wintertime, like not many people are skating right now. So I'm not the one that'll go skate by myself all the time like some other people. I have been, but not like, not my most favorite thing to go skate solo. I like to skate with the homies and
I have the same problem here, living rural Vermont.
yeah,
You know,
frozen over there probably.
I mean, Miles. The two guys I skate with is Miles and Josh from Rollerblade, and they both live like almost 2 hours away from me.
Oh
So
wow, yeah, you're out there.
so we go meet up. And everybody's got to drive like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to meet up for a skate park session. So
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, we have them, but it's definitely not easy to skate with other people here. So anyway, Sean, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah,
for this,
no problem.
for this podcast episode.
Thanks
It
for
was
asking
good
me,
catching
dude.
up. Yeah, you're welcome. It was good hearing everything. I'm really excited about your skate. I look forward to putting them on one day when I drive down to Rollerblade. Hopefully we get some more snow. If we do, maybe you can get out here and
Yeah.
do some skiing. There's a couple indoor skate parks. Maybe you can combine it with a Rollerblade blank video shoot.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah, a little team trip out there. Yeah, so maybe if it snows, we'll do that. Otherwise, yeah, you got to come out here sometime. It's good skiing out here too.
They have Bolton Valley here, has a skate park and skiing.
I've heard of that place. Yeah.
So you can ski, snowboard, and then go to skate park. And a skate park, when you pay for a skate park, you also have access to the hot tub. So after everything's done, you can sit in the hot tub.
That sounds kind of cool then. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot for joining me.
Yeah.
I will get this up in the next few days, and I will talk to you soon. I hope to see you maybe this summer, maybe at one of the events coming up.
Great. Hope to see you in person soon. I know it's been a while. This is cool, though.
Unless things get worse, with everything in the world, we'll see. But hoping for the best and getting back with all the blading family. So thanks a lot. I hope you have a good night.
Hey, too, Jan. Thanks.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Hey, man.
All right. And that was episode 10. We made it. I'm very excited to have gotten this many episodes of the podcast out. Like I said in the beginning, I have a lot more interviews coming up. And, our next milestone will be 50. And that should happen sometime this year. I'm really excited about that. Make sure you do subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. That way, I can help this channel grow, help provide you guys with more content. And if you do like these episodes, make sure to hit the like button. And if you have anyone you'd like to see me interview or any show ideas, or if you want to contribute in being a correspondent or anything, let me know. You can send me an email on my website. There's a link to my email, but it's janwelch@thenowblading.com. And leave any comments below for ideas you have of people you might want to see me interview in the future. And like I said in the beginning, if you want to support this channel, I have links to my Patreon page below, and you will receive exclusive content not available on this channel. I do have the link to my coffee mugs on my website, thenowblading.com. And I have social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me on those, all linked below as well. Thank you for watching episode 10 of the Then and Now Blading podcast. Join me for the rest of 2022 for lots of fun skating content. And I'll see you next time at Uncut and The Vault. Episodes of those coming out this week as well.